It would be hard for someone who did read our book and was sympathetic with almost any aspect of the book to think that it was an appropriate response to the uncertainties that we lay out to have a level of conviction that would justify religious violence of any imaginable kind. Now, that's not a tight logical connection, right? Because we do say, as I was saying earlier, it is possible to have a commitment to a religious claim that is stronger than the epistemic strength of that claim. And we experience that in our own case, and I'm sure everyone around the table does as well. Human beings are not entirely rational in the sense that human beings require, and we think, by the way, we don't think that human beings are rationally required to be entirely rational. I mean, that's, I think, an important kind of caveat in this. We do have an account of rationality, and it takes the form of saying, as rational agents, one has an interest in knowing whether there are good reasons for what one believes. But that doesn't mean that one only has permission to believe those things for which one has good reasons. That's as far as we go with the Reformed epistemology kind of approach. Well, if you take that to its logical conclusion, you could say, look, the fact that I'm uncertain about my belief doesn't mean that I'm not so strongly committed to it that if I think my belief warrants a certain level of violence, I feel that violence is justified. So it's not a logical impossibility for someone to agree with us and still think that religion, that his or her religious commitments require a violent response. Of course, personally, we don't think that any religious commitment requires a violent response. In fact, that would contradict what we think, because of our own tradition, what we think is religiously entailed. But it's not a tight logical fit. Now, if you ask me, am I worried about religious militancy? Yes, I think I am. Given what North Korea is saying right now, I'm also a little worried about atheistic militancy, assuming that they are true to their atheistic ideology, right? So how about militancy in general? I'd like to, I'm not sure that the religious variation is worse than some of the other alternatives that are out there. I saw a statistic, by the way, recently, that because we think of Iran as being this militantly religious country, and there was recently a survey, and I read the results from somewhere, I can't remember who produced it, but it may have been one of these Pew things or something, which showed that actually Americans on average are more religious than Iranians on average, which, gives one pause for thought.